So time is the only commodity that cannot be made up, made back, made up.
Hmm.
Time is gone.
Yeah.
Money can be, you can always find another way of making money, but time not. So why did you start the podcast other than as a way out to have more time with your family? There, not that piece of it, that the
That
idea.
actually wasn't even the reason. That wasn't even the reason. It's just that because I've been podcasting so long, I have 450 episodes. It would
Okay.
be
Yes.
nice to be able to turn this into something that I could monetize. Really, it was because I had trouble making my way through my day efficiently. So seeing 25 to 30 patients a day, every day, I had trouble communicating in ways that the patients were found satisfactory and were also efficient. And I knew that there were people out there that were experts in communication, but they weren't focusing their lens on physicians. They were talking about sales, closing sales, making deals, or leadership, or a lot of them dating. It's funny that you could take parlay someone who is an expert in helping people like be better at dating. That communication strategy can be parlayed into improving communication with patients, right? So there's a lot. Eye contact applies to both. So that's why I created the podcast, because I wanted to take these experts and focus their lens on the doctor-patient communication. But you can't just create a podcast out of nowhere. Like I couldn't invite these ultimately strangers onto a show that didn't exist. So I had to create a show first. So what I did is I reached out to my immediate network, who, being physicians, we have a network that are experts in lots of stuff, whether they're our friends from college or high school or med school or residency, but we've got lots of experts in our Rolodex. And so I reached out to some of my friends who were experts, and I did an episode on advocacy, one about common misconceptions about the Affordable Care Act. I had a gastroenterologist just telling us what she wished everybody knew about gastroenterology. We did a medical device. I have a friend who's developing 3D printing for medical devices. So we had an episode on medical device development. And so I created the show first, and the topics exploded from there. And so the tagline is everything we should have been learning while we were memorizing Krebs cycle. But a lot of it I ended up taking back to communication. And so I have a lot on communication, whether that's nonverbal cues or persuasion or how to get someone to like you. You're someone who wrote a book, How to Make People Like You in 90 Seconds or Less. And so we took his expertise and focused it, because we don't have a lot of time with our patients. So how do we make this communication satisfactory to the patient and yet still efficient? So every time I do the interview, it's through the lens of efficiency also, because the reality of the situation is we have finite time. So we need to use that time methodically. And so the big misconception in our business is that in order to improve your patient satisfaction scores, you need to spend more time with the patient. And that is not true. You need to be methodical about your communication, just like we're methodical about everything else we do. We are relentlessly methodical people in medicine. And so we need to be that way in the exam room too. And it leads to less stress, more connection, a better experience for the doctor, and a better experience for the patient.
Interesting.
Absolutely right.
Herb, I guess our podcast is about storytelling. And that's all these things are, I'm thinking about it, that's all that business stuff that you learn in MBA school. Eye contact, communication, storytelling.
I have an episode on storytelling.
Yeah.
He just gave as a Toastmaster,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a retired neurologist, and he gave some stuff that he learned from Toastmasters and is able to apply to being a doctor.
What is your podcast name?
Pauses.
What is the name of your podcast?
Physician's Guide to Doctoring.
Oh, cool. I'm sure our guests will watch it, listen to it.
I hope so.
Yeah, the communication piece is not part of our curriculum in medical school or residency, and it's such an important piece of what we do as physicians. But we only learn it later on our own, which is
We do, or we take cues from mentors and we try to figure out how they do it. And sometimes they know how they do it, and sometimes it's just something that they've developed their whole life and they don't know how they do it. So they don't know how to replicate it.